Merry Christmas! This is a video that I put a lot of effort into, more than normal actually, and this is also why you have seen so light videos lately. Everything has been going into this and the quality isn't coming out as I wanted it to, so instead it's become like an abstract video, I guess. I don't really know where it's heading myself at the current point. I just wanted to get that out there, and also I did see the new Star Wars movie. Rest assured, Kylo Ren is not Jar Jar Binks. I also want to give a big thanks to everyone who have subscribed, commented, liked my videos during the year. It's been a great year. I hope to get a few more videos out before the end of the year though, but it's really inspiring me to up the quality and do the best that I can. Thank you and enjoy the video.
I can fix it!
And here she is, my beautiful little girl. And how do I know it's a girl? Well, it wasn't that hard to figure out, but I think it's better that I actually show you. Click. Meow. Click. Meow. Click. Click, 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 click.
It's bedtime.
What the F you, bitch? Nothing had been done to the computer.
Click. that's great and all, but what did you actually put in it? So I went with the Cooler Master 130 case and I really love it, but it's not without flaws. This is a mini mITX case, so with that comes a lot of sacrifices, but it was sacrifices I was willing to make. However, there are some flaws that I would love to see fixed at future versions of this case, and I would definitely upgrade to a new case if these are fixed. The first one is the SSD mount, which is horrible. The SSD is mounted by 2 hooks and 2 screws, and it only fits in one direction, and that of course is with the cables towards the graphics card, where there is no room for them. You can't mount it that way with such a big graphics card. So I switched it around and then the screws just didn't fit. So I'm not sure what's up with that, but I basically hammered one of them in there, so at least it sits in there right now, but it's far from perfect. The second one is that I would love to see more ventilation above the graphics card itself. I know it's recommended with a blower style card, and that's not without a reason, because it does become very hot in the case. Having more ventilation above the graphics card would let the heat disappear out of the case upwards, and I will definitely do that modification myself. If there is a future version of this case that has that feature built in already, I will definitely upgrade to that. I went with my old power supply, which is a Cooler Master Silent Pro 700 watts, and it's pretty old. It's around 7 years old, and it's been working great. I might upgrade in the future though, but for now it seemed like a good way to save some money to spend on something else. I took the MSI C170i Gaming Pro AC Mini mITX motherboard because it had wireless LAN and also 32 gigabit on the M2 drive. The CPU is a Skylake Core i7 6700 3.4 GHz. I wasn't intending to overclock it anyway, especially not in this little case. For CPU cooler, I took the Kraken X31, which I have no complaints about, except that a bigger manual would have been nice. I went with 16GB HyperX 3GHz DDR4 memories. I really wanted a 32GB, but that will have to be an upgrade in the future. I am aware that it's recommended to have a blower style graphics card in this case, however, they sound a lot, and Gigabyte Geforce GTX 980 Ti G1 Gaming 6GB card seemed to have the most bang for the buck, and I really needed that extra performance for rendering, and wow, it's really done a huge difference for me. However, it seems that I'm not getting the full 6GB of memory in Blender, which is a little bit disappointing. I hope that it's something that sorts out in the future. It's a little bit strange because I'm pretty sure this card has 14GB of memory, where 6GB is dedicated to games and stuff like that. Instead of getting a DVD, I went with the Icebox IB158 SSKB hot swap drive because I have a lot of hard drives and I can always get an external DVD in the future. Unfortunately, I couldn't use the push-pull configuration that I was initially hoping to be able to do, because one of the hard drives, so it stood between 3TB of storage or an additional fan, and I went with the storage. However, that raised the temperature quite a bit inside the case, and I eventually switched the power supply over to blow down on the motherboard instead of blowing out of the case, which did a pretty big difference in temperatures. Because the motherboard only has 4 SATA ports, I took an M2 drive as my main drive in the computer, and I went with a Samsung 950 Pro. Unfortunately though, the Samsung 950 Pro is too long for this motherboard. You cannot properly mount it on the motherboard itself, so I had to kind of ghetto mod it with cable tape. I actually managed to get a lot of storage into this computer. It's 3 3TB drives, where 2 are Western Digital Red and 1 is a Seagate Barracuda. There is also a 120GB V300 Kingston SSD and the Samsung 950 Pro, which comes out at a total of 9.6 TB. And there you go, as you can see, she is very tight and very hot, and that is also why she is topless, to get rid of some of that extra heat. Running the Valley benchmark, the highest score was 5,924 points at 141 FPS in ultra settings. In the Heaven benchmark at ultra settings, you got 4151 points at 164 FPS. I was going to name the computer Jack after Jack of all trades, good at everything, master of none, because this will be my rendering machine, my gaming machine, editing machine, and everything. But as you probably understand, I can't really give her the name Jack, so I'm gonna need help with picking out a name. So if you got a name suggestion for a sexy female computer with a bitchy attitude, please leave it in the comments and I will have a look at it. The name will eventually be airbrushed on the side of the top part of the case. Thank you. Thank you for watching. If you like my videos, leave a comment and a like, and also consider subscribing to stay up to date with upcoming videos. There are a good bunch of videos coming up, especially unboxing, so if that is what you're into, then you definitely do not want to miss that. Also, if you want to help out the channel, consider purchasing any of the products in my Spreadshirt store. I made the prints myself. See you next time!